कल्याण होता है जो सुनता उनका भी कल्याण होता है इस पंजाबी ओके हेलो
जी अंकल जिसमें भी आपको गुरुजी बुलवाएं जय गुरुजी
हाँ हमें हम लोग बाय डिफॉल्ट क्या होता है पंजाबी वी शिफ्ट इनटू हिंदी इंग्लिश एंड पंजाबी I have been ordered to do satsang. I always start my satsang by saying that it is सत का संग जो मेरे साथ में या मेरे को गुरु जी की ब्लेसिंग्स हुई हैं और जो मेरे साथ में एक्सपीरियंसेस गुरु जी ने कराए हैं मैं उसका बखान करता हूँ 2004 के बिगनिंग में एंड बिफोर आई स्टार्ट आई अगेन से द सेम थिंग दैट कि ये सत का संग तो है लेकिन इसमें थोड़ी सी जो है भूल चूक हो जाती है वो टाइम फ्रेम की होती है बिकॉज हम लोगों को ऐसे टाइम फ्रेम याद नहीं रहता कि 2004 एंड में हुआ 2005 बिगनिंग में हुआ तो उसके लिए मैं अपोलोजाइज और गुरु जी से क्षमा मांगता हूँ 2004 January very first week at that time we were living at Bhopal I got a blood test report and when I saw the report I was shocked the report was on a particular parameter called PSA prostate specific antigen that monitors the health of the prostate gland which is only in the males and the safe or the suggested safe limit for a male is 0 to 4 like sugar should be less than 100 the PSA level should be less than 4 0 to 4 or so in my case when I saw the report it was 117. I was shocked to see the report. We were living in Bhopal for a very, very long time. I had some senior doctors as my close friends. So I rushed to a close friend, Dr. P.K. Gupta. And he saw my report and referred me immediately to uro-oncologist, one Dr. Samra. And all this happened in a period of just about 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. After Dr. Samra saw my report, he said, you should rush to Delhi and get yourself treated because you seem to be in serious trouble. Very first train we could catch, we got into the train and reached Delhi next morning. In the meantime, my family had arranged for a consultation at Gangaram Hospital. All sorts of tests were done, MRI, CT scan, biopsy was done, and as was apprehended, I was diagnosed of cancer of prostate in quite an advanced stage. And this was quite a shocker to us because I had no problems whatsoever, barring just minor urinary problems, which anybody can have at that age. I was about 54, 55 or so. And I had got this test done on the insistence of my elder brother, who happened to be in the US, because he was diagnosed of this problem. And his doctor had advised that in case one brother has this problem, the other brothers are likely to have it. It's more like a genetic problem. I don't know. I didn't even know at that time. I'm sharing this. Sangatji, the purpose of sharing personal information, as Guruji ordered us, is also to communicate the risks involved for the people, for the persons, for the Sangat, so that they can also monitor their health accordingly and suitably. So from Gangaram Hospital, I went to Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Hospital. From Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Hospital, I was able to get an appointment at All India Medical Institute in a short time because of some good contacts there. And my doctor's friends at Bhopal had arranged for an appointment with some senior doctor at Bombay also. So I went to Bombay and got myself checked. And wherever I had gone, I was given a very negative picture because if I was declared positive and with a PSA of 117, I was in serious trouble. Meantime, my family had, as जैसे होता है कि यहाँ मत्था टेक लो, आए इस दरबार में चले आओ, ये काम कर लो ताकि कुछ blessings मिल जाएं. लेकिन we were in a state of shock, mental turmoil. We didn't know what to do. And finally, I had arranged for a surgical procedure at Gangaram Hospital and even underwent the pre-operative surgery procedures or protocol. Meantime, my brother-in-law, auntie ke jo brother hain, General Deepak Malhotra, at that time he was a brigadier. He said to Guruji ko aaja thoda kalyan ho jana. I had sought Guruji's darshan at Deepak's daughter's wedding briefly, and I sought his blessings also at that time. So it took me to what we call a Chote Mandir or Empire State, where Guruji used to give darshans at that time. And believe you me, you can understand what kind of the mental state or tension or turmoil a person who's been diagnosed of this problem can be. So I was in a stupor, I was in a state of shock, I was in a state of turmoil. But when I entered Guruji's Darbar, Chote Mandir, Empire State, for the first time I was at peace with myself. I felt comfortable. I felt, I probably reached the right place. But looking back now, I think I'd done the right thing. And that started my new journey. Entered Guruji's Darbar, Shabad Kirtan, going on, pin drop silence, self-imposed discipline. Guruji's divine presence there. और उनके जो बहुत डिवाइन जो spiritual fragrance थी गुरुजी, that was there, the aroma, the fragrance which is unique. Thereafter, after the Shabad Kirtan, we had Langar Prasad in the very unique way of 4 people sharing the langar in one plate. That suggested the principle of equality. कोई भेदभाव नहीं, छोटे का बड़े का नहीं है. And after the satsang was over, I was being guided by Deepak all along. And his wife, Sudash, who happens to be a Marathi sister. I was taken to Guruji. And he said, Kyo hai? I said, this is a problem. He knew it because Deepak probably had told him. He said, अगले हफ्ते आइयो तो एक तांबे दा लोटा लेके आइयो. I was so comfortable in his divine presence that I totally forgot about that surgical procedure which was to take place after a few days. I don't even recall the time frame. And the very first opportunity, we went to the market, purchased a tambe ka lota and brought it to the darbar. Guruji blessed me, blessed the lota. The Sangat, taught me how to maintain it, कैसे उसको सुचा रखना, कैसे उससे रात में उसमें पानी डाल के सुबह उसका जल प्रसाद लेना है, जो थोड़ा सा बच जाता है उससे स्नान करना है. And I'm trying to follow that the protocol or जो भी instructions हैं religiously. all my life. 2004 to 2022 has been 18 years, a very long journey. I was to undergo the surgery which I was asked not to undergo. Guruji suggested something else. I went to Bombay and I underwent radiation therapy and hormone therapy. As a result of Guruji's blessings, my PSA level came down from 117 to less than 1. And for the last 15, 16 years, it is 0.02, less than 1 actually. Guruji, in fact, indirectly suggested to us to go in for hormone therapy because he asked somebody in the Sangat to give me some medicines which were not easily available, which was an indication that I should undergo that therapy. Sangatji, when the problems come in bundles. While I was undergoing this problem and I was undergoing my treatment, one fine day, Guruji told Deepak, my auntie's brother, Saleh Sahab को बताया कि तेरी बहन हुई कल्याण की लोड़ है because she is neglecting her health because of her husband's problems. That's my problems. At that age of around 50 or so, ladies generally develop some problems, gynae problems. So we went back to Bhopal, got herself checked by a gynecologist, and the gynecologist suggested that she should undergo a biopsy. You understand what's the import or implications of biopsy. So we came to Delhi and fixed an appointment at Gangaram for her biopsy. Came to Guruji's darbar, unko humne guhar kari, and he knew it. He is the one who prompted us. He knew everything, and he is one already had blessed Punamanti, my wife. To make it brief, Guruji said, "Ja tera kalyan kita." He told my wife. He blessed my wife. It's a long, I think, satsang, but then making it short. Next day, her biopsy took place. And as Guruji had blessed her, her biopsy came negative. So this is not as simple as that. Guruji कहा करते थे अच्छी जो भी होता है practical होता है. And don't think that her biopsy came negative because it was negative. Because I'm just going forward in the time frame. Into 2007 or 2008, when me and a friend of mine, who was my classmate, we had thought of starting our own consultancy company. And my friend suggested that we meet an astrologer for the most auspicious date. Now, by 2008, we had gotten to Guruji's Sangat, and the Guruji never encouraged meeting Pandits and astrologers and all that. But since the gentleman was going to be my business partner, I had to respect his sentiments, and we met an astrologer very close to my house. So I took my patri, he took his patri, and the purpose and the question to the astrologer was that when should we start our business, our consultancy company? And suddenly that Panditji asked me out of the blue, said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes, go ahead." "Aapki patni kya aapke saath mein hai? Is your wife with you?" I said, "Yes." He said, "As per your patri, your wife should be with you." I had goosebumps. Oh, Sangatji, it's not so easy because Guruji had blessed her in 2004 or whatever time. I mean, I'm not able to recall exactly. I might even have a biopsy report date and all that, but I'm just saying that then only I was able to correlate how Guruji had blessed her and got her out of the problem, and that she's hale and hearty, and she just spoke to you a short while back. So Mahapurush हमेशा जताते हैं को बताते हैं that you must remain be aware that you are under my watch and ward. So coming back to 2004, while I going my treatment, I underwent my treatment at Bombay. अब हमारा ये हो गया था कि गुरुजी के दरबार में हम लोगों को इतना अच्छा लगता था that very first opportunity we would come from Bhopal to Delhi and be at his darbar. It was a divine place. Sangat ji, you know, I am engineer from IIT Kharagpur. I have been in some reasonably good positions. और हम लोग कोई अंधभक्त नहीं है. So एक एक्सपीरियंस होता है, एक एश्योरेंस होता है, एक एम्बियंस होती है, एक स्पिरिचुअलिटी या डिविनिटी होती है, तभी आदमी जो है इस चीज को अडॉप्ट करता है, एक्सेप्ट करता है बड़ा इजीली. So when we went to Guruji's darbar, his divine presence, that Langar Prasad was so amazing that हम लोग जो है शायद कहीं और हमने इतना स्वादिष्ट, इतना अच्छा जो है लंगर प्रसाद नहीं खाया था अपने लाइफ के अंदर. और लंगर प्रसाद में जो है वो लड्डू बर्फी ओकेजनली मिलते थे. हम लोग जो है तो एक दिन हमने सोचा कि हम भी थोड़ा सा कोशिश करें और अपनी तरफ से कंट्रीब्यूट करें. तो हमने बहुत सोच समझ के 5 या 7 डब्बे लड्डू के कहीं से अच्छी जगह से पैक कराए. और जब दरबार में गए तो हमने वो जो किचन एरिया वहाँ देना चाहा. एंड वी वर हमको डांट पड़ी कि आप यहाँ पे जब तक कोई आज्ञा नहीं होगी कुछ नहीं ला सकते हैं. यू कैन नॉट गिव एनीथिंग हियर. एंड दिस इनफैक्ट रीइंफोर्स्ड माय बिलीफ कि ये ऐसा दरबार है, ना तो कोई पंडित है, ना कोई यहाँ पे चढ़ावा है, और आप आइए शब्द कीर्तन सुनिए. कोई प्रवचन, गुरुजी प्रवचन नहीं दिया करते थे कि लेट अस इंट्रोस्पेक्ट. शब्द वाणी में ही जो है वो हम लोगों को अपने जो दुविधा होती थी, अपनी प्रॉब्लम होती थी, उनके आंसर्स मिल जाया करते थे. और इनफैक्ट हिज वे ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट वाज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल शब्द वाणी, जैसे हम मंदिर में एंटर करते थे. देन लंगर प्रसाद. और लंगर प्रसाद मैंने जैसा बताया कि इट वाज सो डिवाइन, सो डिलीशियस. और इट वाज ही हैड हिज ओन वे ऑफ ट्रीटिंग पीपल. हम लोग जब चाय मिलती थी, चाय नहीं बोलते थे, चाय प्रसाद बोलते थे. पानी मिलता तो पानी नहीं, जल प्रसाद मिलता था, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग देयर इज डिवाइन. और Guruji had his own way of testing people. All he said was कि ऐसे आओ ते सिर नीमा करके आओ, सजदे में आओ, शिद्दत में आओ. I need nothing from you. I just need surrender, and which is the most difficult thing to do. So कई बार ऐसा होता था कि जिसको जो देखिए ऐसा हमने सुना है फर्स्ट हैंड जो बता रहे हैं कि जिसको शुगर होती थी उसको गुरुजी जो है मुट्ठी भर के मिठाई देते थे खाने के लिए, खा ले. And if you took it with the belief, with surrender, with confidence in Guruji, he was cured. बोले कल से अपनी शुगर टेस्ट करा लियो. जिसकी शुगर बहुत ज्यादा होती थी वो सोचता है मैं खा के तो मर जाऊंगा वैसे जो है. लेकिन अगर उसने ले लिया, जैसे हम लोगों ने पर्सनल 1-to-1 सत्संग सुने हैं लोगों के, तो वो बताते थे कि नेक्स्ट डे जब हम शुगर टेस्ट कराई तो हमारी शुगर नॉर्मल आती थी. वहाँ पे एक डीजे अंकल थे, वेरी ओल्ड सरदार जी, and very fine person. He was in charge of the शब्द कीर्तन. तो वो बताते हैं कि उनको बहुत सीवियर प्रॉब्लम्स थी पाइल की एंड हेमराइड्स की, जो क्योर नहीं हो रही थी. जब वो गुरुजी के पास में आए तो गुरुजी ने उनको मिर्ची वाले समोसे दिए खाने के लिए. We can imagine a person who is suffering from piles or hemorrhoids. उसका क्या हाल होगा जो है, and what his mental state was. But he took it, and he got cured, and he got attached to Guruji. Guruji ने उसको जो अपना जो है अपना चेला बना लिया. वो जितनी भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती थी शब्द कीर्तन की, म्यूजिक की जो है, वो उनको देते थे. और he was affectionately called as DJ uncle. Coming back to my satsang, when हम लोग तो बस ये हो गया कि पहली फुर्सत में दिल्ली आ जाना, और दिल्ली आके जो है हम लोगों ने गुरुजी के दरबार में जाना। और इतना अच्छा लगता था कि रात को कभी 1 बज जाए 2 बज जाए तो हम छुप जाया करते थे, गुरुजी हमको वापस नहीं भेजे। समटाइम ही वुड आस्क अस टू गो। कभी हम लोग जो है लंगर प्रसाद करने के बाद में 10 साढ़े 10 बजे हम लोग जो है, वी वर नॉट, वी नेवर ट्राई, आई मीन वी ट्राई टू हाइड, बी इन द कॉर्नर, ताकि गुरुजी हमको जो है वापस नहीं भेजे। बट ही वुड से चलो भोपाल वाला, चलो चलो मखीजा चलो। कई बार जो है हम लोग जब वी वांटेड टू गेट बैक, ही वुड से बैठ जाओ। और फिर उस दिन गुरुजी जाया करते थे वॉक करके, उसके बाद में आना उन्होंने। और फिर हमको दोबारा लंगर मिलना, हमको कई बार जो है चाय प्रसाद मिलनी, 1 बार 2 बार, और कड़ा प्रसाद मिलना। तो ये जो है ना, उनका अपना एक अलग से वेरी वेरी स्वीट, यू नो, कांट इमेजिन कि हम लोग बूढ़े हो जाते हैं, हमारे पेरेंट्स हमारे पास में नहीं होते हैं, तो somebody like that becomes our parent. We hold on to them and we love them. One fine day, Guruji asked me, कितने काम करना है? मैं कहा गुरुजी ऐसी कंपनी में जनरल मैनेजर में। After some time he said, then he asked me कितनी तनख्वाह मिलती है? I blurted out something, हमारी हिम्मत नहीं होती थी गुरुजी से बात करने की। After some time he said, तू छੱਡ दे रानू। So this is where it was a real test, because I was suffering from that problem, undergoing the treatment, feeling very insecure with my own job, and leaving that job and was something very unthought of, because it would have resulted in a lot of financial and psychological insecurity. So I said, Guruji, बस 2 साल रह गए हैं। Again I beg apology because time frame याद नहीं है, because November 2006 I would achieve the age of 58 and I would retire officially from that company. मैं at time कट लूं? He said, yes, go ahead. However, in the meantime, he kept on reminding me, तू छड़ता है ना? And again, something very, very pleasant, very nice happened one fine day. And I just went down to take his leave after Satsang and Langar Prasad. And suddenly he said, अगली बार आई हो तो अपना सीवी लेके आई हो। पता सीवी क्या होता है? चंगा बना के लेके आई हो, लल्लू पंजू नहीं, सीडीज लेके आई हो। And I was surprised because and I just put like a fool 2 and 2 together कि हाँ गुरुजी तब तक बोल रहे हैं कि तो अपनी नौकरी छोड़ दे, and the other he is saying कि अपने CV लेके आई हो, because a lot of ministers and industrialists are there at his हाजिरी। किसी को वो बोल देंगे मेरे को नौकरी मिल जाएगी जो है। So this went on, and I had not made my CV for a very long time because I was working in that company for almost donkey years, something like 30, 2005, yeah, or 35 years or so. So I got my CV made with the help of somebody. चंगा बना के ले आना है, तो I got my CV made professionally. CD फॉर्म में लेके आए। अगली बार जब हम लोग दरबार में गए तो मैंने वो CD गुरुजी को पेश कर दी with the hope that आज कोई कॉल आएगी, कल कोई कॉल आएगी। But that was not the case because he had some much bigger plans for me. When 2006 November came, I was to retire from that company, and me and my wife, and in the meantime Guruji kept on asking, तू छड़ता है? मैं कहनी बस गुरुजी नवंबर में जा रहे हैं अपना जो है उन्होंने हिसाब करना। The day I was to go to Calcutta from Bhopal, me and my wife, we came to Delhi, and as usual हम लोग गुरुजी के दरबार में गए। Next morning we were to go to Calcutta. I recall very clearly Guruji was sitting on the floor. Sometimes he would sit very informally on the floor and talk about worldly things, joke about things. Uh, you know, that's something which has been very unique about Guruji. He showed his human face. He would joke around things, uh, chaff with people. Oh, IAS means invisible after sunset. Noida means no idea. And small little things, but he tried to make people comfortable sometimes. So that day when I came to Guruji's Darbar to take his leave, I recall he was sitting on the floor and next to him was Maneka Gandhi. And I touched his feet. He said, "Tu chhad de na no." I said, "No, Guruji, बस मैं कल सवेरे जा रहा हाँ अपना हिसाब करने कलकत्ता तुझे कहो तो मैं एक्सटेंशन ले ला इसे नहीं तू दिल्ली आना है नहीं गुरुजी दिल्ली मैंने एक्सटेंशन दे दें मैं ले ला he didn't look very happy मैं एक साल ले लेना because that I was suffering from I never planned my life like that एक साल ले मैं लेना extension लेना तो he virtually dismissed me like this so as if he wasn't very happy about it because महापुरुषों के साथ में हम लोगों को बहस नहीं करनी चाहिए जो जैसे वो कहते हैं वैसे करना चाहिए अभी तो कहते हैं कि सरेंडर जो है बहुत ही मुश्किल चीज है जो कहते हैं मेरे पास में आओ तो सजदे में आओ आई नीड नथिंग मेरे नाल तार मिलाओ एंड आई विल टेक केयर ऑफ यू सो वी वेंट टू कलकत्ता नेक्स्ट डे एंड आई सॉट एक्सटेंशन फॉर 1 ईयर जैसे गुरुजी ने कहा कि आपको दिल्ली आना तो हम लोग ने भोपाल से दिल्ली शिफ्ट हुए आई हैड अ फ्लैट इन दिल्ली I got this done up in that 1 year period. I got my flat done up and we shifted there. And 2007, 31st May, we were shocked when Guruji left his chola. And it took अब क्या होगा जो हमारा he was everything for us. And we never expected कि गुरुजी we never imagined गुरुजी हमको कभी छोड़ के भी जा सकते हैं ऐसे जो अपना चोला छोड़ सकते हैं and it happened all of a sudden but then he has given us so much of blessing and continues to bless us that physical चोले में तो गुरुजी अपने आप को कुछ लिमिट्स में शायद बांधे हुए थे he never encouraged media he never encouraged TV and all that उनके बारे में totally discouraged it was forbidden actually so his संगत was कितनी बड़ी हमको उसके बारे में आइडिया ही नहीं था उनके शागिर्द कितने हैं कितने लाखों लोगों को गुरुजी ने ब्लेस किया है we had no idea so जब गुरुजी ने अपना चोला छोड़ा तो उसके बाद में हम लोगों ने छोटे छोटे अपने ग्रुप्स बनाने चालू कर दिए और अपने संगत जो है अपने सत्संग करने लगे अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस शेयर करने लगे तो तब मालूम पड़ा कि और जैसे वो ग्रुप्स बड़े होते गए और वी स्टार्टेड गोइंग टू अदर ग्रुप्स within the city that we were living in Delhi then we came to know कि कितने लाखों लोगों को गुरुजी ने ब्लेस किया है और कहीं भी हम लोग जाते थे तो मालूम पड़ता था उसको ये प्रॉब्लम थी उसकी इतनी डिफिकल्ट प्रॉब्लम थी उसको ये था वो गुरुजी ने जो है चुटकियों में उसको ठीक कर दिया 2007 as I said Guruji left his chola in 2007 November मेरा जो वो extension भी था 1 साल का वो खत्म हो गया that is how me and my friend we had thought of starting our consultancy company and that's how I went to that Panditji coming back to the flow 2007 and 2008 beginning Guruji gave darshan to my wife in a dream that he was sitting in a Jain dress on a hill or my wife in the morning woke up and auntie told me about her dream तो मेरे को इतना ही याद था कि गुरुजी जेंडर्स में है और एक पहाड़ी पे बैठे हैं, एंड शी सेड समथिंग अबाउट कंबल रखे हुए हैं. सो दैट वाज ऑल आई रिमेम्बर्ड. बट इसके कुछ दिनों बाद में, ऑन द डे ऑफ लोहड़ी, ऑस्पिशियस डे ऑफ लोहड़ी, आई वाज सिटिंग विद अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन near my house, that I get a call from some gentleman called, and he said, क्या कर रहे हो? I said, कुछ नहीं, अपने फ्रेंड के साथ में जो है कंसल्टेंसी बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए इनिशिएट किया है, कर रहे हैं हम लोग. He said, कल आके मेरे को मिलो. So I went from Delhi to Bombay, and from Bombay I went to a place called Jalgaon. And believe you me, in a very short time, the gentleman who happened to be managing director of a company, and I was very fortunate to be having meetings with him on common cause issues earlier on. He offered me a job which was, I could never refuse. It was an amazing job, because generally the post-retirement jobs are not very attractive jobs. They're very mundane jobs. So I grabbed the opportunity, and in a very short period of time, the letter of appointment was signed. The very next day, he instructed his senior officer to show me around. When he showed me around the establishment, कि उनका R&D center क्या है, कितनी बड़ी company है, क्या करते हैं वो लोग. So when the gentleman took me around that place, then I saw that the company, that the entire establishment happens to be on a hill, and the company's name is Jain Irrigation. It's a blessed place. Guruji had blessed it. And then I called my wife from there. I told her this is what Guruji had been planning for us. Had he not instructed me time and again to leave that previous company, I would have been probably working there, whatever capacity they gave me. But then in this company, I started a new inning. New challenge was there, new life was there ahead of me. So गुरुजी ने फिर हमको चताया, फिर बताया, और मेरी आंटी को ड्रीम में दर्शन दिए कि वो जैन ड्रेस पे हैं और पहाड़ी पे हैं. Actually, I was staying in the same place earlier on this, but I reached in the morning, I just got dressed and went to their office for the interview and all that. But it's later only when I was being shown around that it dawned upon me that what Guruji had given darshan to my wife, and I called her. So Guruji, हमको time to time he manifests his presence. He tells us that look, what all I am doing is because of me. Otherwise, अब देखिए कि how it is that I go to Guruji for my problem. I wanted to seek his blessings to cure me. He cured me. He cured my wife. He prompted me to get her checked up. मैं चेकअप नहीं कराया होता तो हो सकता प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी बढ़ जाती. So I got her checked up. He blessed her. Her biopsy became negative. And in 2007 or 8, when I was meeting that astrologer, I was reminded that, look, your wife should not have been there as per the Patri. And then it dawned upon me that Guruji के blessings है, वो ठीक ठाक है. और kept on telling me, तू है नौकरी छोड़ दे. नौकरी मेरे को छोड़ने का एक्चुअली कोई पर्पस नहीं था, because those people I was working with earlier, they took me like a family member. I was working with them for a very long time and in a reasonably good position. But as you know, when you fall sick and people tolerate you for a short time, thereafter the sympathy runs thin. तो वो हो रहा था ऐसा. But before that really happened, I changed my job and I got this job in Jain Irrigation. Sangat ji, this has been my new birth in every respect. The company is so amazing. It's a global company, international company. They even have 5-6 manufacturing plants in the USA. And the kind of learning that I got in this company, I could never imagine it. The financial security, the I almost forgot that I was suffering from cancer, because anybody who suffers from disease, it always gets overburdened with the problem, the thought process that mera kya hoga. Actually, in 2007, before I joined Jan Irrigation, I and my wife went to UK, Leicester, close to London, where her cousin is staying. Her cousin happens to be a radio oncologist, senior radio oncologist in National Health Service in UK. He's a very fine person, Dr. Subhash, and he has been holding my hand ever since I was diagnosed of the problem. And even now also, he keeps on suggesting me and helping me and my family members. So I went to Leicester with her, and I asked him, Subhash, tell me honestly how long I got to live. I was telling about how a person who suffers from cancer is always overburdened with that thought that what next, how long I'm going to live. And I told him, look, Subhash, मुझे अपनी life plan करनी है, or I got to see things are in place. He said, Surinder, by law of probability, you're doing fine. Now, it means that by law of probability, I was doing better than most people in my situation, my condition. When a doctor who was your family member, he said that by law of probability, you're doing fine. That's a great answer, because you're doing better than most. And somebody, that was 2006 or 7, and this is 2022. So almost 16 years, 15, 16 years back then. And I'm hale and hearty. My job at Jan Irrigation took me to new places. I started working once again sincerely in a new job with all the vigor. And I almost forgot about my problem. 2010 beginning, I got a call from somebody, a consultancy company, to whom I had sent my CD in 2007. That there's an opportunity in Ethiopia for a team leader. It's a short-term assignment of 7 months. Do you want to take it up? I spoke to my boss, and he said yes. And very kindly he permitted me to go there. So me and my wife, we went to Ethiopia, and we lived there for almost 7 months. And it was a new experience for us, a new learning for us. But when you are in that position, you have to study a lot, you have to learn a lot, you have to deliver a lot. And that gave me a new leaf in my life story. And that was my first foot in the door as far as Africa is concerned, because thereafter I started traveling to Africa. I started having more assignments in Africa. And, something which I look forward to all my life. So, Guruji जब देते हैं तो आपका एक बार हाथ पकड़ लेते हैं. I don't know what I had done to deserve so much from Guruji. But मैं आपके सामने आज बात कर रहा हूँ. I'm sitting in the US. हम यहाँ ट्रेवल कर पाते हैं विदाउट एनी प्रॉब्लम, और हम लोग फाइनेंशियली सिक्योर हैं, हेल्दी हैं. ये उनकी मेहर है और कुछ नहीं है. क्योंकि जब मैंने लुक बैक टू दैट डे ऑफ 2004, I shudder with the prospects of the consequences. It's only because of Guruji's blessings that हम लोग, और ये तो इतने ब्लेसिंग्स होती हैं एवरी डे, ईच एंड एवरी डे हम लोगों के लाइफ के अंदर. जैसे हम लोग अभी आज 2008 we came for the first time to Bay Area. My son had bought a house here. तो after about 15-20 days, the novelty of being in US wears off. I had been here earlier also. So अब क्या करेंगे जो है? Then we learned that यहाँ पर भी गुरुजी की संगत है बे एरिया में. बड़ा अच्छा लगा हम लोगों को. हमने वो संगत ज्वाइन कर ली. जो छोटी सी संगत थी, ऐसा ऐसा वो बड़ी होती गई जो है. और हमको यहाँ पे एक परिवार मिल गया, लोग मिल गए जिनको हम लोग जानने लगे. दे अंडरस्टूड आवर प्रॉब्लम और एक दूसरे की ब्लेसिंग शेयर करने लगे, जैसे मैं आपके साथ में कर रहा हूँ. तो हम जहाँ भी जाते हैं गुरुजी की हमको संगत मिल जाती है. और हम लोग जो है अभी आपस में एक एक्सटेंडेड फैमिली हो गई है, ग्लोबल फैमिली हो गई है. गुरुजी ने हमको इतना कुछ दिया है और सबसे बड़ी चीज दी है कि कल को नहीं कोई प्रॉब्लम आ जाए तो इट्स गिवन अस द कॉन्फिडेंस कि सब ठीक हो जाएगा. कोई प्रॉब्लम तो लाइफ में आती रहती है, आप जानते ही हो. थिंग्स डू हैपन बट इज गिवन अस मोर कॉन्फिडेंस कि घबराओ नहीं. I am with you. And he keeps on manifesting his presence every now and then. How he manifests his presence, I already told you. ड्रीम में आके जो है वो बताते हैं हम लोगों को या और तरीके हैं. तो एक बार ऐसे हुआ कि हम लोगों ने जीके में बैठे हुए थे एक सत्संग में एंड वी डिस्कस दैट के नेक्स्ट डे हम लोग संगत जो है आगरा जाएंगे. आगरा जाके हम लोग जो है वहाँ पे एक भाटिया आंटी, उन्होंने बहुत ही खूबसूरत मंदिर बनाया है गुरुजी का. उस फैमिली को गुरुजी ने बहुत ही ब्लेस किया है. तो उन्होंने एक बहुत ही अच्छा मंदिर बनाया और नेक्स्ट डे उनका एक मंथली सत्संग होता है. तो हम लोग ये प्लान करें कि वहाँ जाएंगे हम लोग. बट आई वॉज नॉट ड्राइविंग एट दैट टाइम. मेरे पास में उस टाइम में ड्राइवर भी नहीं था. तो एक संगत में अंकल है, बोले अंकल तुसी मेरे नाल चलना जो है. मैंने कहा नेक्स्ट डे मेरी एक मीटिंग है तो लंच के बाद ही चलेंगे. सेड यस नो प्रॉब्लम. तो ये तो हमारा डिस्कस हो गया था. और शाम को फिर उनका फोन आया कि अंकल मैं जो है कल सवेरे जल्दी जाना पड़ेगा, आप तैयार रहना. वी विल लीव बाय अबाउट 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. आई सेड लुक आई टोल्ड यू आई हैव अ मीटिंग and I can't leave that meeting. If I recall clearly, some guy from Home Depot USA wanted to meet me on that particular day. So I said, I'm sorry, I can't go. The next morning again, he called me, Uncle, I got a little late now, and we can leave by about 9 o'clock in case you want to. I'll pick you up on the way. I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't leave that. I was very frustrated and disappointed because दिल में बहुत इच्छा थी जाने के लिए. जिसके कहते ललक होती है जाने की जो है वो पूरी नहीं हो पा रही थी. So anyway, we forgot about it. I started my day and I started by why certain things I described so in detail is that those scenes are frozen in your mind. I went to the washroom and I applied some shaving foam on my face and suddenly I remembered that रात को मेरे को गुरुजी ने दर्शन दिया. So I went to my auntie. I said, look, this is how it is. And गुरुजी ने रात को मेरे को दर्शन दिए हैं. बोले क्या दर्शन दिए ड्रीम में? मैंने कहा ऐसे ऐसे है कि गुरुजी एक रूम में बैठे हुए हैं, बाहर 2 लोग खड़े हुए हैं. उसमें एक तो मेरा बड़ा अजीज दोस्त है रवि खन्ना और एक जेंटलमैन कोई और है. तो बोले क्या हुआ? मैंने कहा, मैंने रवि से पूछा, रवि तेरी पोस्टिंग मथुरा हो गई है? कहने हाँ. तू भी गुरुजी ने मनना है? He said yes. And the other gentleman I could not recall. You know, dreams are very abrupt, disjointed, and not like an edited film. So I just told her like this. So she said, कोशिश करो कौन थे वो जो है दूसरे वाले सज्जन जिसके बारे में आप बात कर रहे हैं. I said most likely it was so and so person. और उनको फोन लगाओ. I had foam on my head. And she said, उनको फोन लगाओ. मैंने कहा nothing doing. And early in the morning, people are getting ready for their work. And I just don't want to call him up and say that रात को मेरे को दर्शन दिए गुरुजी ने और this is how it is. She said nothing doing. So we had a bit of argument and I went to the washroom and I started shaving. And suddenly she picked up my phone and dialed his number, बोलो बात करो. And I was really वेरी अनहैप्पी कि मैं ऐसे क्यों कर रही हैं. एनीवे, तो मैं द फोन पे वो ही वाज देयर ऑन द फोन. आई जस्ट सेड हेलो, एंड आफ्टर एक्सचेंजिंग प्लेजेंट्रीज, यू नो व्हाट ही सेड, अंकल आगरा चलना है, 2 सीटा खाली हैं, कब जाओगे? लंच दे बाद जाऊंगे जब तुसी कहोगे. नाउ दिस इज आउट ऑफ द ब्लू. I had given up the idea of going there. The gentleman who was to take me, he had called me twice, but then I said no. And then suddenly I get a dream. I realized I had a dream. I talked to my auntie, and the whole procedure, it can't be explained by logic. And the gentleman says, "We'll go. जब भी आपको होगा 2 सीटा खाली." So we went to आगरा. हमने वहाँ पे दर्शन किए, रात भर उनके दरबार में रहे. काफी बड़ा उन्होंने फ्लैट बनाया हुआ संगत के लिए. हम लोग रहे. वी हैड अगेन शेयर्ड आवर सत्संग विद मेनी पीपल. बहुत लोगों के हमने सत्संग सुने. और फिर नेक्स्ट डे हम लोग थोड़ा घूमते घामते जो है एक वापिस आए. दैट स्टार्टेड अनदर जर्नी, पार्ट ऑफ द जर्नी, कि हम लोग अब दिल्ली से बाहर जाके जो है हम सत्संग अटेंड करें, सत्संग करें. और फिर हम लोगों ने ऐसा ऐसा जो है, जैसे भोपाल में मैं रहता था, तो भोपाल में हम लोगों ने, मेरी एक मुँह बोली सिस्टर है, उनके आ गए, उन्होंने सत्संग कराया. और जगह जगह जो है गुरुजी की जो संगत है वो बढ़ती जा रही है. और बस ब्लेसिंग्स उनकी गुरुजी की चाहिए. गुरुजी सबको ब्लेस करें, हर एक आदमी को, हर एक परिवार को, जनमानस को. शुक्राना गुरुजी, बहुत बहुत शुक्राना फॉर एवरीथिंग दैट यू हैव गिवन अस. जय गुरु जी. शुक्राना गुरु जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्राना. संगत जी शुक्राना फॉर लिसनिंग टू मी. जय गुरु.